Hi everyone, this is Crispy1001 at kpcosoft.com. This is our 19th video on how to use Blender and the Blender2FSX add-on to make models for Flight Simulator 10. In this video we're going to complete our texturing of the exterior model. We're going to use GIMP to make our transparency or our alpha channel for our texture, and then we're going to use the image tool to make our DXT1, because we're going to be making a 1-bit alpha channel and then saving it as a .dds format or extension. And then we're going to be done with the exterior model until I learn how to do the animations of the wheels. So if we have time, we're going to test it, our plane in FSX in this video, and we may start working on the interior. So let's get going. So to start off, let's go down and let's initialize our tool set. And let's go ahead and select everything by hitting A until everything is selected. And let's do a Control A, and let's hit Scale just to make sure there wasn't something we forgot to make a default scaling on it. After doing that, let's go ahead and go File and Save. Hit A one more time to unselect everything. Okay, I found out some new information. We did have set up our body and our windows as part of the body mesh, and we're going to try to use one material and the one texture to do our transparencies on the glass. But it turns out that we cannot use one material and use the transparency settings for the FSX materials. So we're actually going to have two materials and use the same texture sheet that we've burnt all of our textures onto. So let's select the body. Select the body, and let's hit Tab to go into edit mode. We're going to scroll in. We're going to make sure we're in face selection mode, so click that little icon right there. Then select the left window, the front window, remember hold down Shift, and the right window. Make sure you have all three windows selected. Once you have that, we're going to hit the P on the keyboard, and we're going to separate out that selection. So hit Separate and click on Selection. So now we've made those three windows their own object. Let's now go Tab to get edit mode. Let's go down to our tree structure window. We're going to scroll all the way down, and you'll see that we have a body .001. That is our windows. Let's click on it once. Then let's hold down the Shift and select our body, and then do a Control P, and then say Set Parent to Object. So we're setting the windows that the body is its parent, and then we're going to have to rename it. So let's go back and find that body.001, click on it once, go to your Object tab, click on it, and let's type Windows. Now what we're going to do, we're going to keep your window selected, hold down the shift, and then start selecting the other objects that we have on our one texture sheet for the body. So if you remember, we have the front landing gear, the front tire, we have the ailerons, the flaps, the elevator control surface, and the rudder control surface. We have the 3 spinner cones, so we'll have to scroll down, hold down the shift, select spinner blurred, spinner slow, and spinner still. Then the last object we'll click is the body itself. So hold down the shift, select the body. Now we're going to go up to this little corner up here where you have the lines running. We're going to hold down and pull that out to start a new window. Go down in this little icon here and choose UV Image Editor. Bring your cursor back in your 3D workspace. Hit the Tab key to go into Edit mode. Hit the A key to select everything. We bring up our UV mapping again with our texture. And you will see that our glass is still in the same area, or its UVs are still in the same area. So that shows that we can use that very same texture for the UV mapping for that material for the windows. If you do not see all the other items selected there, like you do on mine, you may need to make sure you go to View, and put Draw Other Objects. And that'll draw everything else around. As long as you select your body last, you'll show the UVs for the main body. Okay, so everything there works. So now we can close this window. So click on it, drag it toward the texture, and release. That'll merge the 2 windows. We're going to hit A to go out of, or to unselect everything. Hit Tab to unselect. Hit A to unselect everything. And now we're going to select the glass. So click on one of the glasses or one of the windows, and you should see that your windows highlights. We're now going to go to Materials, and as you can see right now we have the body color, or the main material for the body selected. So we're going to delete this one, so hit the negative or the minus, and we're going to go New. We're going to give it a name. I'm going to call it Window Color. And then we'll go down and start setting up the FSX material parameters. So I'll make this window bigger. I will scroll down. First thing I want to do is under diffused intensity, I'm going to make that 1. Oops, why didn't you do it? Alright, what's going on? Okay. Oh, come on. Alright, we'll do it that way then. So we're going to set it to 1. Specular intensity, take that down to 0.25. And we're going to keep going down. Now this is the glass, so we're going to stop here at transparency. We're going to click transparency, and I usually set my alpha to 0.30. Why is it not doing that again for me? 0. I see I don't have my num lock on. There we go. So 0.30. Oops, that's not right. 0.30 or 30% alpha. We're going to go down. Then you see FSX material parameters. We're going to put a check mark there. We're going to bypass this and this. Then special functionality, we're going to do blend inverse by inverse diffuse alpha. We're going to check use global environment map as reflection. I'm going to set my reflection scaling to 30. Specularity scaling to 100. Allow bloom. Then we're going to, under frame buffer blend, we're going to set transparent, and it will auto set your source blend to source alpha, your destination blend to inverse source alpha. Z-testing, Z-test alpha, we're not going to do anything with. Set final alpha, we're not going to do anything right now. And I'm going to say no shadow. Everything else should be okay. So we can scroll up. We're then going to go to our texture. We're going to go off to the side here because we're going to be using that same texture sheet. So we're going to click on the little icon here for the texture. We're going to choose main texture. Scroll down. Under mapping coordinates, we want to do UV and mapping, UV map. Everything else is all right. Okay, so that should have set everything up there. So let's go ahead and go File and Save. And now we can export. So let's go File, Export, DirectX for FSX.x. Make sure that you, over here under Export FSX.x file, you check the Export Model File. Make sure that you're in your folder for your project, and make sure that you are in, let's see if I'm in the right one. I am not in the right, yes I am, I'm in the right one. And make sure you have the model folder selected. It'll tell you that you already have a file there. It's okay, it'll just overwrite it and say export fsx.x file. Click it. Okay, so that's done. I'm going to go ahead and close mine now. And I'm going to navigate to where I have my main folder for my project, and I'm going to go to Textures. Oh, we forgot a step. I forgot to have you save the UV. So let's open back up Blender. Sorry about that. Open back up Blender. Open back your project. I wish I would remember this, but it's okay. We'll get it done. I'm going to minimize this a little bit. Now we only need the body selected. Let's see. Actually, we need the body and the glass selected. So we'll make sure we have those two items selected. We do. We're going to pull back over. And let's go right here, this icon, go to UV Image Editor. We're going to hit the tab, make sure you're in your 3D workspace, hit Tab to go into Edit Mode, and hit A. And let's go View, Other Objects. Okay, there's the windows, because basically the windows right now are the only thing we're really interested in. So let's go to UVs. We're going to export UV layout. to see where it's putting it. I want to make sure I'm in my main folder for my project. I'm going to go to Textures, and I'm going to name it Test Plane. Oops, I need to delete that one. But this right here, at the end of mine, I'm going to get rid of the .png on it. Put underscore UV, hit enter. It will add the .png extension for you, and then say, click on the Export UV layout. Okay, now we can go ahead and collapse that window. In the 3D workspace, hit A to unselect everything, go Tab to get out of edit mode, hit A one more time to select everything. Let's go File and Save. We don't have to do anything to redo the model or .mdl file because we haven't changed anything. So after saving, we can go ahead and close Blender again. Open up your textures folder for your main project. And there it is, Test Plane. That's pre-test file 1 right there, Test Plane 1 UV. Delete that one, so that one shouldn't be there. You guys shouldn't have that one either. Okay, that's the one we need. And this is basically just the UVs for where the window is on this texture sheet. So we're going to open fuselage _T with GIMP. Okay, so there's our texture sheet. Next thing we're going to do is import our UV as a layer. So let's go File, Open as Layer, and we're going to do that fuselage or test plane or whatever you named yours, UV right there, and go Open. Okay, so now you can see that if you turn off this, there's our windows. Let's turn back on that. Okay, now we were going to want to click on the fuselage _T PNG. Make sure you're on that layer. We're going to add an alpha channel to this layer because remember when we in video 18 when we made our texture, or it might have been video 17, one of those two, we did it but we didn't have an alpha channel. So we're going to go ahead and add our alpha channel. So let's go to Layers, Transparency, Add Alpha Channel. So now our alpha channel has been added. Now we're going to add a mask to this. So we're going to go to Layers, Mask, Add Layer Mask. I want it to be fully opaque, so leave it as it is, and say Add. And we're going to go click on the layer, do a right mouse click, and go to Show Layer Mask. So there's our actual layer mask with our UV over it, showing us where it's at. So now, on GIMP, I don't know how well known GIMP is to everyone. We are going to scroll in. To do that, we're going to hit Control and the middle mouse wheel and roll it. You can hold down the middle mouse wheel to move around the image. I'm going to again hold Control and the middle mouse wheel to zoom in. I'm going to go over to my tool option. I'm going to take my size down to 1 pixel. I'm going to make sure I'm on a pure black, because remember we're using a 1-bit alpha, so that's either all white or all black. So I'm going to type in 00, 00, 00, 00 and enter, and OK. I'm also going to make sure I'm not on anything but the pencil. I want the pencil. I'm going to hit Control and zoom in a little bit closer so I can see better. That's good. I'm going to click once with the left mouse button and it'll add a pixel in that area. I'm going to scroll all the way down. I'm going to hold the shift, and you can see it draws a line from that point. I'm going to put it down to where I want it and hit the left mouse button. It will draw a straight line for me. Then from that point where I just clicked, I'm going to hold down shift again, bring it over to the next side, and hit left mouse button. I'm going to go, oops. I'm going to go up, hold down shift again, left mouse click, go over, left mouse click. So now I have a square. Now I can use the bucket fill. Hit the bucket, fill the square, hold down control, middle mouse wheel, zoom out. So there is our first window. Next we'll go to our second window. And actually that is the front window of our plane. This is a side window and a side window. So let's zoom in, go back to our pencil tool, click right there, hold down the shift, click, click, and there. Remember, I'm moving the image by holding down the middle mouse wheel until you see those 4 cursors pointing in the 4 directions. Once I have my square again made, I'll hit the bucket fill, go back to my pencil, go to the other window, click. Remember, hold shift to get your line, to make a straight line. Bucket fill, zoom out. Okay, very good. Now we can, let's go ahead and hit, let's save and make a GIMP file of this so we don't lose our layers. So let's go File, Save As. We'll leave it saved exactly what we have at fuselage_t, but GIMP will add a .xcf file or extension. Let's make sure we're saving it in our texture folder, which we are, and let's hit save. Okay, so now at least if anything goes wrong, we have our main file. We can go back and remake our, we're going to be making a PSD file or a Photoshop format. And the reason why we're going to do this is because the image tool that came with the FSX SDK works best with either a strict bitmap or PSD format. It will not recognize the PNG format. So now that we have that, we're going to click again on our layer. We're going to do a right mouse click. We're going to uncheck Show Layer Mask. We're also going to go down and uncheck Edit Mask. Now you can see we have a transparency in that area for the glass. We're going to turn off visibility for that UV unwrap layer. Now we're going to go File, Export As. We're going to make sure we're exporting to our texture folder. We're going to change the fuselage_t.png to a PSD format and hit enter. GIMP message. Oops, I must have named it wrong. It must be, oh, PSD. I put PDS. PSD and enter. There we go. Okay, so that is saved. I'm going to close. I'm going to discard any changes I've made since we last saved. I'm going to close here. We're going to go back to our textures. So now we see that we have our fuselage_texture, which is there. And if you viewed it, you would see by looking at it that nothing has really changed, but it does have the alpha channel now that FSX will use. So now we need to use the fuselage underscore T PSD with our image tools. So navigate to image tools, and if you don't know where that's at, if you have done a default installation, it will be under your C drive, program files for x86, then Microsoft Games, Microsoft Flight Simulator 10 SDK, Environment Kit, Terrain SDK, and then in that folder you'll find Image Tool. If you already have it and you want a shortcut like I do on my desktop, once you find that image tool, do a right mouse click and go to Send to Desktop. You click on that, it'll make you a shortcut to this file or this application that you can use without going and finding it every time. So I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to click on my image tool, open it up. I'm going to go File and Open. I'm going to navigate to where my folder is, or my main project folder is, and it will be under its texture folder, and I'm looking for fuselage underscore T PSD, which is this one right here. I'm hitting Open. Okay, so there it is. Now we're going to go to Image, we're going to go to Format, and because we have a 1-bit alpha channel, we're going to use a DXT1 format. So click on DXT1. Now go back and we're going to go File, Save As. We're going to make sure we're in our same texture folder for our project. We're going to name it the very same file name but with a .dds format or extension. So fuselage underscore T dot DDS and enter. So now we have that saved. I can now close this and the image tool. I'm going to open up my main project in my textures folder to find my fuselage. There it is, fuselage underscore T dot DDS. I'm going to click on it, left click, right mouse click, copy. I'm then going to open up my flight simulator for all my planes. Now I have a shortcut for this again too, but I will navigate you through it if you don't have yours set up. So let me go to Properties and Open File option. Okay, so again, if you did a default install for your flight simulator, you will be under C, your C drive, then Program Files.x86, Microsoft Games, Microsoft Flight Simulator 10, Sim Objects, then it'll be Airplanes, and then you would scroll down to where you see your project or your plane folder. And mine is Test Plane 1. So I have that one open now. I'll put it over. Oh, let me close that. Okay. Now we just copied our fuselage underscore T dot DDS. We're going to click under the textures folder under our flight simulator plane folder. So textures. I'm going to click paste. So now you can see fuselage underscore T dot DDS is there. We're also going to have to go back to our main folder for that and go into textures 1. And again, do a right mouse click and paste. The next thing we need to do is go to our project folder for our plane. Go to the very beginning. And we need to go to its .mdl folder to get its model folder. Model file we just made for the exterior. So let's double click into it. test plane model, go copy, we can minimize that one. Now in our plane folder for FSX, click on its test plane root folder or main folder, and then click on the model folder. You should already have a test plane or whatever you named your project plane.mdl file. I'm going to delete mine and then right mouse click and paste. So now I've pasted it in. I'm going to minimize this one, and I'm now going to start Flight Simulator. Now remember, my Flight Simulator is kind of jerky and it doesn't run too smooth with my video screen capture program. So I hope you can make out a little bit on it. So here we go. Scroll down. There's our test plane. And as you can see, we now have a transparency glass for our fuselage. And we have all of our textures, so that means our texture map is working. You can see the reflections in the glass of that global type of mirroring it is doing. But we did forget to change something on our main texture sheet, and we'll go through and do that. Look at our spinner. Remember when we did our bake, we had 3 spinners on top of each other, and it kind of messed up the ambient occlusion for the shadowing on that. So we'll need to go and clean that up. So let's go ahead and go to a airport. Go to one that I have made. The day, the weather, and then fly. Okay. So there's the old interior that we have from last time, but we're going to be redoing this because I'm not happy with it, and we're going to make it a little bit better than what we've done. So let's zoom out a little bit and see what it looks like. I'm going to hit F11 to go outside. Oops. Looks like I don't have my texture for my prop blur there, so that's why that's happening. If you have that too, all that means is you don't have your prop blur that you used or you applied on your polygon in Blender. You don't have that same file in a DDS format in your Flight Simulator folder. So I'll fix that later. But you can see, let me spin it. Oops. You can see that our glass is working. So everything's working pretty good in it. And close it. And let's fix that spinner real fast. So let's go to our main plane folder. Let's go from the model, go to the main folder, go to textures. Let's reopen our fuselage texture, which is right here. Actually, we're going to have to make sure that we have that other part is done. So we're going to have to open our fuselage _T GIMP image folder, file. So double click on it. So I'm going to turn off show layer mask, turn off edit layer mask. I'm going to hide my UV. I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to go to my spinner. So remember, hit Control and the middle mouse wheel. Now this is the very same way you'd go in and start adding detail to your fuselage and all the parts you want detail to. But right now we're just going to go in and we're going to clean up our spinners. This is our spinners where we put them. And actually I should have went in on all the different items, and maybe we'll do that later. We need to actually go in and delete the faces on our plane that isn't going to be used, because that's taking up our, it's adding more triceps to our poly count, or our tricep count, that isn't going to be used in FSX. But for right now, let's go to our pencil tool and let's cut down the size of it a little bit. Just go down to maybe 10. That's good. Just hold the control and click on the color you want. So you can see up here it got that red that I want. Oops, I'm going to hold control and zoom in. Now I'm just going to paint it. And this doesn't have to be real nice in the lines. I think that's it. Oh no, we have more down there. We have to do all those too. Okay. That one. That one. Okay, so now we've repainted our spinner, and now we're going to have to resave, remember, in a PSD format. Well, let's go ahead and save our main one first, so let's hit save. Then we have to go File and Export As. We'll find our PSD file, there it is, fuselage_TPSD, click on it, and hit Export, and say yes, I want to replace and overwrite. That is done, so we can close it, open up your image tool again, go File and Open, make sure you're in your correct folder for your plane and texture. Just find the fuselage_TPSD file and open it. Now we're going to go again, Image, Format, a DXT1, File, and Save As. Here we want to do fuselage underscore t dot dds and enter. And do you want to overwrite the existing? Yes, I do. Close it, close it. Go back into your textures, find your fuselage underscore t dot dds, copy it, open up your folder for your plane in FSX, go to textures, do a right mouse click and paste, copy and replace, go to textures .1, go paste, copy and replace, and then we can minimize that one, restart Flight Simulator. I forgot to fix my prop. Well, I'll do that later, but you guys don't need to see that. Well, I guess I can show you how to fix that, or I'll show you how to fix that too if yours is doing that too. But first, just go to Test Plane, go Open. Now you can see that our spinner is a nice color now and not all messed up. But my prop blur is still not there, so I need to fix that. So I will close. I will go to my main folder for my plane. Let's see, I see prop blur underscore t. Let's see what's under my plane in FSX. Prop blur underscore t. Oh, I see why. I need test prop. Okay, so test prop. Test prop 1. Okay, so I need that one. So copy. So the one I'm missing is test prop 1 underscore t dot dds. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to paste that one in my textures folder. So that put it there. I'm then going to go to texture dot 1 and paste it there. Okay. Now let's minimize those, open up Flight Simulator again. Change to our test plane. Okay, and let's go to an airport. Okay, so now let's go to F11, and that looks much better now. And you can see that our prop is actually spinning, and the, oops, I moved the ailerons. I don't have my joystick hooked up right now, so I'm using the keys, and I'm not used to it. So you can see that our transparency glass works good, our prop is working good, we've taken care of the prop where you can make my fuselage format for GIMP detail you want to do on your plane texturing. Then save it as a PSD or a Photoshop file. Use the tool program to do a DXT1. Now if you later on go in and you want more detail on your glass, you can go to a, I believe an 8-bit or higher on your alpha channel. Then you'd use either a DXT3 or a DXT5. Now I've been told the DXT3 format doesn't always work very well. So you'll probably want to make it a DXT5. I think I'm going to end the video here. The next video we will start reworking on the interior of our plane, so working on the cockpit. And once I learn how to do the animation of the wheels spinning or the tire spinning, we'll go back and we'll work on the exterior body to show you how to make the tire spin. So I hope you learned something from this video, and I hope you subscribe to my channel, and I thank you for watching. Bye.